Well, I thought of a conversation topic, so I decided I'd roll. Uh, while I'm waiting for people to tune in, I'll share something that I can appreciate. Hopefully, you can appreciate. Yeah, my eyes have a shine in this lighting, and that those who see this afterwards um, as well can appreciate. Um, in this very location, pretty much of our home, earlier today, I did a cover version of a song. Fairly simple song. A lot of people that are musical could have probably done this one. And then I got an email saying that there had been the rights belong to someone else. When tons of people are doing covers on here, tons and tons and tons, and that's okay, from what I knew. So what I'm taking that to mean is that, or whether someone reported or not, what I'm taking it to mean is that my version was so good of Country Roads that they thought it was the real one. Maybe that's the same thing with my friend Ray, who I've shared her singing a little bit of different songs. Anywho, I'm just making sure I have the chat on. I wasn't gonna podcast tonight. It's been a bit of a hectic evening, and I'm not sure. G was on a customer service call with somebody about a service provider and switching it, and decided wanted to think about it. I don't know who suggested tomorrow, but tomorrow is the night we're going to do the virtual party. So now he's thinking he could say Friday, but he already kind of turned, you know, didn't complete it tonight. So I'm not really sure what to hope for from him about that. But there was somebody there for, like, I guess I'm only under 5 minutes, so it felt like longer than it was. Well, it was longer than a few seconds anyway, like maybe a minute or two. Anyway, so as far as during the day tomorrow, I might do one. I have a few other ones that he's at work, he misses them, so I kind of want to talk with him about or show him some of the ones that he's missed. Um, oh, hello, Des67. How are you? There, now it says you're watching. Welcome. Interestingly, I've known a Des in my life, but he passed away a number of years ago. I don't know if he was 67 or not, but first time on this channel, out of curiosity. Definitely the first time I've seen your comments. Yeah, thanks. Definitely the first time I've seen your comments. How did you come across the video? Um, and I guess if maybe you subscribed and I didn't know it before. And if you didn't, I welcome you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'm just wandering around because I have something I'm holding on to that I'm trying to figure out. Okay, thanks. And remember to hit the like button too. I'm trying to figure out where I want to put this. It has to stick to something. I don't know if I want it to be on a window or not. And then I'll go sit down and relax into the conversation a bit. But yes, I'm curious how you came across. What's that about, Alvia? Fuck what? Are you trying to get me? No, just kidding. But curious how you came across the channel and if it's your first time here. And what's the problem, Alvia? I'll give you Alvia, however you say it. I'll give you a few moments to kind of elaborate there, and then I might think you're a troll. But I'll give you a benefit of the doubt. Yeah, so we got 3 people here, and I'm curious. So, as I said to someone earlier, it's always interesting to discover that kind of thing. And whereabouts in the world are you watching from? It's these kind of initial questions, getting to know each other. I'm in Canada, mostly unemployed, but somewhat self-employed as well. And you can see what the title of this video is. I'm not sure if it's that or just my late night, slightly tired look that drew you in. Des was a former co-worker of mine, and there's a bit of a story there, but I don't know if I want to get into it on YouTube or not. I don't. I don't. Do you? And it's a topic I'm a little bit leery to talk about because I find some games are not very healthy, not very or kosher, as I might say. But I used to play them more when I was younger. In fact, I saw the username something about a hedgehog the other day, and I thought of I'm just gonna take care of that because it's distracting me. And You play basketball. That's pretty cool. I used to love that back in my younger days. Actually, in in about a day, I will be older than I am right now. I mean, every second you're getting older, right? So, but back in my 20, well, maybe more so high school, I played basketball. And honestly, I was just more athletic in general, not like on teams very much. I'm more musical and artsy, and I'm glad that you aren't solely looking for someone to play video games with. I mean, I'd like to think that, like I say, my content is more healthy than a lot of the games out there, but some of them are good, I'm sure. Are you on a team in basketball? The Des, I'm thinking I would probably find that amusing as well. Maybe I could talk a little bit about him and then about me. Um, oh, cool, cool. How old are you, out of curiosity? Like I say, I'm in Canada, near Edmonton. Um, oh, it didn't take very long for someone to tune in, so that's pretty cool. Um, really, it's very interesting. I don't know what it is. I seem to get a lot of people from India. Not trying to, I don't want to sound weird or bad for saying this, but I think it's fairly well known that a lot of them try to scam people. However, these people aren't. They're cool. They talk with me often. One actually, I made a mod today, a moderator, and he's pretty laid back. But it's good to have that and have a little bit of parameters, right? Oh, lucky you. Growing up in the Trump era. um, but So the topic of this video, well, I guess, and I'm curious to note what kids would say these days because I don't really ask them. Although I did hear that, I think a story recently of a 14-year-old that had started his own business. But what kind of work would you like to do someday? And it's also very ironic, actually, that there's so much that could be said, actually. Like, as far as rest in peace, which I understand is a nice thing to say, and I appreciate that. Um, I believe that spirit does live on. Our angels do live on in another realm. So though they're at peace, they can be pretty wild still. I mean, earlier today there was some evidence of that. I feel like I had an OBE, but yeah. What kind of work would you like to do? Because this is kind of but it's also interesting because I lost my father at your same age. Can you imagine? Maybe you have been through that, but if you haven't, can you imagine it? You know, where is? I just lost something. I keep misplacing something tonight, but a couple particular things. But Oh, here's one. Okay, yeah. So I think it's Des that we still have here. I believe, short for Desmond, I believe, or maybe a foreign name, Chapstick. If you're curious, Chapstick. If you're not. And it's the one that I have handy right now. I did find the other one, but I've misplaced it again. So this is supposed to be actually a weird flavor. It was a kind of a pack, and it's supposed to be sugar cookie, but it tastes kind of mapley, so perfect for Canada. Be in the NBA. Okay. I mean, I don't know how often they what's the word? I'm looking for my water now. They recruit players, but what would be? I don't want to say that that's not realistic. I'm trying to be a good influence for all. I will say that sometimes I don't have a filter, but anyway. Um, um, you know, um, I feel, yeah. Anyway, but and to the other person that's watching, if you'd like to weigh in, what kind of work do you do, or what has been your favorite job that you've had? What sparks this is that, and I just know that I'm not doing anything. I'm just here to have a nice conversation, and maybe do some music. Although I did some earlier today, and I'll probably podcast tomorrow too. But what sparked this conversation? Let me just see if I put my water. That's not the one that I just took out of the fridge. I was over here. Yeah, I think it's this one. What sparked it was that tomorrow, like, I don't drive. I'm not a big fan of busing. I can't really afford cabs, although there might be some money with that card I'm going to look at tomorrow. I can't really afford cabs. Make faces in here. What? No. Um, and there are some fake ones out there apparently these days, unfortunately. They look real. They make you pay up front, or I don't know. I can't remember the exact details, but I'd bike if I had a place, if I knew that my bike would be safe where I'm going, or I'd walk. It's actually in walking distance. The very next day is supposed to be nicer weather. I mean, for this time of year, not bad. I think it's still in the pluses. Because yes, it sometimes isn't. I mean, and it's in our Canadian metric, but I'll stop walking around now. But is it Des that we still got here? But so it really is quite sad that I might not make it to that event, and the you know I don't think there was a cost. I think was that the thing that they said. Yeah, I don't think there was. Okay, cool. Yeah, so um I'm sure that you know a lot more than a lot of adults realize that probably. I don't mean to sound whatever, but they probably think that you're young and innocent, and they're like, oh no, they know I'm a rebel. Could be wrong, but you are a basketball player and a gamer after all, so I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it's ironic though, because to think that that was, like I say, the age I was when I lost my father, and now only having him spiritually, um, and the day, the week of my birthday. For that, I mean, there's always coincidences. There really is. But um, I was looking for my socks next, and I can't remember where I put them, but it's all good. Hey man, I'm so sorry that happened. Yeah, auto accident. Yeah. Thanks. Um, and I wonder what my life would be like if that hadn't happened, to be honest. I only know what it's like because it happened. I mean, you know, again, it's a normal thing to say when somebody shares that with you, so you're not wrong in saying it. But what I'm trying to say is I do still feel his presence around me. Sometimes I even feel like I'm getting messages from him. Just earlier today, in fact, in the podcast too. So I mean, that's nice. In a way, I almost kind of feel closer to him because of that. I'm not sure if you got headphones on. It's probably evening there too, because I think we're pretty similar time zone. And if anybody else is around you as you're listening, but yeah. So aside from the NBA, what is a I'm both asking this question because I like to talk about, what people, the interesting jobs people have, the passions they have. I also, okay, well, hopefully we'll talk again. I guess you probably have an early morning. That's fine. Somebody else is here and they can take your spot. Not that there can't be more than one in the chat at a time, but and I just, I've done quite a bit of podcasting today. It is true. And it's 9:30, and I don't know if he's going to do or not. I think he's kind of tired from the evening too. But G and the GNC. But so I will admit I'm tired, and I could have done this tomorrow, but I had to keep myself awake for a while longer. I could have had other distractions, but then I was thinking about this event that I might miss tomorrow, and I was thinking, hmm, you know, um, that whoops, I was thinking how you know how do I put it into words? Basically, it could have been maybe considered, you could have looked at it as my start into the industry. But if I can't get to the event, then no. And technically, I have done some things, but it's been a while. And, you know, I do feel, like I say, that thing that I mentioned at the beginning of this video makes me think that, yeah, maybe I'm meant to do music and I sound so much like the original that YouTube doesn't know the difference. Um, um, and Ray too, like the Aguilera song. I mean, their voices may have been similar with that song. the Skinner song I did previously, and a little snippet of a show idea I was working on at the time is normally done by a male. So I mean, they should have realized that that wasn't the actual version. She doesn't even really have a deep voice, so that was kind of odd. But anyway, yeah, tomorrow, I guess I'm looking for motivation to be inspired, and I'm asking out of curiosity. It's flickering one a bit at the top, but yeah, I'm looking for motivation to be inspired, and I'm asking out of curiosity. About what kind of industry you work in and how you got your start, and if it's not your dream job, if you've ever had your dream job, because I feel like that is really what I'm asking, to be honest. Like if you're just saying, well, I work in the food industry, I work at McDonald's, I applied, I got the job. That's not, no offense if you work at McDonald's or places like it. That's not, and we can still chat, but that's not really what I'm looking for with this. Um, I guess I could talk a little bit about what I kind of do, but it's still been a slow and gradual process, and I definitely don't feel like I'm as there with it as I would like to be. Um, so yeah, basically, and people might ask, well, what kind of fields do you want to know about? What kind of industries? Pretty open on that at the moment, but may be different than what do I want to work in. But I mean, specifically, what the event was for was people that wanted to work in the film industry, different operations, including composers, like music for films. And my only kind of experience with that is because I am involved with some casting agencies, although minimally. Um, I have offered, I've said we have unique instruments, we do music. If you're interested, one person, she said that she wasn't the right person to ask and she didn't know who to ask. And I thought that was really weird that she didn't know her staff base, you know, that she worked with. Um, and I probably have offered it once or twice, you know, similarly, but to someone else. And it's just not, it may not have even been noticed, to be honest. Uh, what I'm really sad about is missing the opportunity to network tomorrow because I haven't been doing enough of it. I mean, the transportation part is a big part of the difficulty, but I haven't been doing enough of it, and those connections can be very crucial, right? Um, and you know, other information I might get, but then I did tell myself earlier, even getting the information, I mean, this would make so much sense to do tomorrow too, but here I am doing it tonight, so it's fine. But the information that I might get is kind of like, okay, if I'm not getting the opportunities, then is it really all that great to be really all that um, important to have the information? I mean, it could still be interesting, and it would have been something to do for the day, and if it had been, it would have been a good, cool way to spend the special day that it I mean I will. I'm gonna eat good. I'm gonna look at, the birthday posts, and I might podcast. But it's kinda like, but yeah, if it had been on the seventh, like seven, um, then that would have it's really too bad it's well, but it's short notice again, but it would have been better because it would have been easier weather to commute in. It may have been a bit cool, but it's early November, and where we live, it's been it's been cool, getting cool, and definitely looking like fall, but it's been quite seasonably warm. So, I mean, you know, it's not going to be forever, Winter is on its way, kind of thing. I hope I don't get my throat too sore for sleeping. But yeah, but I'm interested in a lot of stuff, and I'm interested in the kinds of things that people do. That's just a bit of water that I splashed on myself unintentionally. the kind of things that people do for careers or have as a dream job, and what you're doing to either get there, or if you're already there in your dream job or have been in the past, how did you get your start? It might be something I have interest in as well, or it might just be an interesting conversation to have. Um, but it is fairly likely that it might be something that I have interest in as well. So, yeah. So I'm just kind of putting a couple of waters in the fridge, and I have a couple of them out here that I'm just going to put back in the fridge, I think. Actually, this one's fine, isn't this? Is this the one I just had? I don't think so. Anywho. And I'm also wondering, right, that's upstairs, isn't it? Yeah, I could go up and get it then, but this is already kind of drying off. Because I don't know if I like that one. Oh, what's this? Is this the one I'm thinking it is? Oh, look at that. Okay, cool. Just so that we don't have to be distracted by the water spots that I just accidentally splashed myself with. So, now I'm so sorry. I think you just tuned in though. So, and I think I came out here with this, yeah, and left it out there. So yes, I don't want to sound like I'm repeating myself, but I don't know if anybody's actually heard me ask it when I've been saying it. So, there we go. We're settled in now. Yeah. I guess I could take a moment. A birthday is kind of like, New Year's Eve sometimes, in the way that you maybe reflect a little bit. Not that you don't sometimes anyway in life, whether it's in a nostalgic way or otherwise. And part of me feels like, until the next person comments, based on the topic of this video, part of me feels like I could talk about kind of, in a way, I'd almost rather not talk about me. I mean, I do that somewhat often when I'm not doing music on this channel. But until you may join the chat. It's not forced, but it's invited. I could, I guess, talk a little bit about me. I mean, I wouldn't say that I am consistently landing the jobs that I want, though. That's the thing. And I guess I don't want to be picky in who I'm talking with about this, but I guess that is kind of, and it went 202. What I'm asking for is like people that are already working in their industry. Like I say, I wouldn't necessarily say not food service, but fast food. I mean, again, no offense to anybody that works it, is kind of what I'm gonna not, be that interested in. Call center jobs, been there, done that. Not that interested in it, for the most part. Even ones that do surveys, they're very particular. Like when I worked at one point in time, and this isn't really my main industry, but we would have to do surveys. And at some point, certain demographics would fill. And so we couldn't speak to people of those demographics, even if we got them on the line and they'd be willing to do the survey with us. And it often seemed like in those moments, that's what would happen. So, I mean, that was just one annoying part of that job. But some stuff about me is, like I say, I'm a musician, self-employed, newly starting into the life coach industry, doing some acting, but not much. Photography, talent scouting, kind of, again, not as much as I'd like to be doing, though. That is for sure. And so, when I think about that, it's kind of like, I guess part of me is looking for either people that work in those industries or just simply have suggestions for getting into them. More, like no fail kind of plans, which, I mean, I know you can't guarantee, but, or maybe I'm looking to, as it went from 0 again for a few seconds and back to 2. Maybe I'm looking for to explore completely other industries. Although I would say that these ones that I just mentioned are ones that I think you can get by with. I would say I know that you can without a lot of without a degree, perhaps, without just natural ability, life skills, learning the more you do it, kind of thing. And a lot of things are like that, I would say. But yeah, so I'm looking for things that maybe don't require a degree because I just don't know if that's in the cards for me anymore. I mean, certainly not multiple choice tests. I can watch a multiple choice trivia show, and where it's not a matter of passing or failing a class or an exam or whatever, um, or take an exam where it's like it's either a pass or a fail. There's not even an almost 100 in some cases. I would imagine it's like you either got them all right or I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've been in university, but that I think was the hardest part for me. The textbook work a little bit, and back then I was actually more into books. I don't hate them. I just really don't spend a lot of time reading anymore. All online, really. But so um, and also the accessibility, cost, and getting to them. I know someone who was going to help me try and take some courses where there was no cost because they wanted them to be accessible, but she's in Ontario. I'm not. And it seemed like it was more applying to that. But then when I was looking at it, I wasn't also seeing what she. But then that was years ago that she'd done that, so maybe it was different than chapstick if you're curious, chapstick if you're not. But yeah, but I know that people get into their industries in so many different ways. Some people are born into a family business. When they get to be a certain age, which is sometimes still a teenager, they're brought into that business. I mean, they may like it, they may not, kind of thing. Um, a lot of people do end up getting through college or university not long after high school and soaring to the top that way. I moved to a different, same country, different province after high school, and it was an adjustment thing. I adjusted just fine, and I did a lot of great things, but it was a few years before I took anything at university. Um, and I had thought I was doing well. I couldn't get funding for year two because I wasn't doing as well as I thought, or like I say, those final exams. So and it's really hard when you don't have a degree. Um, and so many things require at least a beginner level degree, and most jobs that I feel are worth having that are fulfilling, that utilize my skills and my interests. It's or you have to have a driver's license, or you're this, or you're that, or you. But what I'm looking for is whether it's you or someone people that have. I guess the phrase that comes to mind is defied the odds, who have been kind of. There's other terms I can't think of at the moment, where they've kind of. Just put lotion on my hat. Um, they've mm, defied the odds might be the best way to put it. Trailblazed, maybe? I don't know. That's maybe not the right way to put it, but you know what I'm saying? Do you or anybody come to mind with this topic? Like, um, when you get older and you are reaching a new decade too, you know, and I was going to talk about this tomorrow, and I might still a little bit because it is late, so I don't know how much longer I'm going to roll, but we'll see. But sometimes you experience this I should be further ahead in life feeling. Anybody relate? We've got two of you here. I want to welcome you to the channel. Curious if you've ever been to it before, how you came across it, if you'd like to say, and where you're watching from in the world. It's a big world. You don't have to be super specific, but in a general sense, never forced, but invited conversation. The other person that's here is not here at the moment. They went to bed, but I'm just gonna put this over here, and yeah, like I don't know. I mean, without anybody saying anything and talking about the industries they're in, some people also they maybe know somebody. May not be like their immediate family business, like their parents. May not be or maybe another relative or a friend, as I've said many times on my channel, because it's a hard thing to accept. But it's true. I don't have a very large family and a very connected family, and a lot of them have passed away to health or auto accidents. And when it's not large, I mean, it becomes so much smaller. Um, and a lot live far away, and some are estranged. Sorry, just gonna fix this. These stupid pillows, they slide like crazy. Um, and then at this chapter in my life, it's been a bit more quiet and stagnant as far as like in-person activities and connections. And I guess I do have a few close connections, even just online, YouTube, and in general. But I'm a very social person, and I don't feel like I have as many as I need, as many as I'd be happy having, as many as I can manage to have. Those things make sense. In other words, I feel like I have more acquaintances these days. And sometimes that can mean like it feels a little awkward to approach them because you don't know them very well. I know that unless you've seen many of my videos and we've interacted before, it's the same case. Artistic, yes. Autistic, yes. Joe Joe Jobaman, Jojo Baman. How do you say that? And suddenly we have five here. Why do you ask? Is it the hat? Is it the scarf? Is it the way I speak? um, but yeah, so sometimes that means it's a little. And I realize you could say, well, that's similar here. I mean, we're not even maybe even familiar with each other yet, so we're not even acquaintances. But it's like at some point, you just like you just give it a try. Team Gandalf or Team Thanos? I'm not actually sure what that means, but we might be in different countries of the world too. So, and I mean, Gandalf, isn't that from Lord of the Rings? I think, or some sci-fi movie. Really, it's not on topic with what this video is about, but it's political, and I'm not very much. But you must not be American because I know that's Team Trump. No, and it sounds Greek to me, but it's all Greek to me. um, oh, it's 10 o'clock already. Wow. Anyway, but again, this was about what industries people work in and how they got their start in them. Really. Oh, really? I was running for to get rid of Trump. Okay. First, again, I don't follow politics. I don't have cable. I mean, I have the internet, obviously, um, and we do hear some American news, but this is the first I've heard of them. So I vote for Lord of the Rings. But I mean, I don't want to get hugely political here, but you said yeah or yay to getting rid of Trump. It's interesting. I think yeah and yay could be spelled the same way actually, but they mean the same thing too, so it works. Um, and so if Gandalf's of an improvement, and I mean it's not hard to be, but it is politics, then cool. But again, what kind of work do you do? And out of curiosity, is this the first time that you came across the channel, and how did you come across it? That makes sense. And I think you said that you're mayor of New York. Okay, so mayor is like a smaller political. I might. That's the third person that's told me that recently, and it's probably more common than I realize. I might um be related to somebody that's actually a mayor of a place. I have worked in. Oh, well, that's very funny because I was kind of alluding to that I think before you came in or before you said anything. Most of my working years, I've been working for the same pizzeria for 7 years. Lucky seven, and we're getting close to November 7th. Well, that's cool. Um, Busy Bee. Oh, sorry. There's actually two of you commenting, but it only says one of you is watching. So, same question to you, by the way. Oh my gosh. Hmm. Something else that I do that doesn't require a degree as much as it's about lived experiences. And if you haven't had them or been closely connected to someone that has or watched somebody that has, busy. Why does it say there's one person when there's two? I'm glad to have you both. If it's because YouTube isn't accurate sometimes and we can't go by the numbers, we have to go by whether we're liking the content. And there's always something to like. Anywho, something else I'd like to be doing more with, but it is late at night here. It has been a long day. And that, but it's kind of ironic. And I've been eating a lot of pizza, by the way, too. Stuffed crust, I've been really getting into lately. And actually, back in speaking of my birthday, um, I probably had them at a Pizza Hut at a point in time, and I one of my high school connections I'm still in touch with, but we don't talk very often. Thank you. Has worked in a pizzeria possibly since high school. I kind of sort of remember that. So like 18 years. I could be wrong. It's been that long since high school, approximately. But what's interesting, and I'll try not to judge you. Anchovies, yick. And I think Busy Bee sounded like they're agreeing. Uh, you should say hi, and we can do. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Let me explain this a bit better. Um, and again, chapstick if you're curious, chapstick if you're not. We are connected, her and I. Basically, it's that she isn't online much, as I think what it is, which I mean, I have a hard time fathoming that somebody that is my age, and she may have been a year or two older than me, but now it says nobody's watching, but I don't think that's accurate. Um, but somebody that's my age or younger, I'd really be surprised if. I mean, thanks for the like. There are so many different social media sites. I use a very small number of them, and it says two again. Cool. But I guess between work and your kids who, somebody my age could have teenagers as kids now. I mean, that's, I don't have kids, but and some people I went to school with like have 8-year-olds. But like when you think that your parents are about 20 years younger than you, I'm almost 40. Um, you know, late 20s if I'm doing the math right. So, but I mean, some families are just very close with each other, and and she's got a partner. I don't know why. She just says that she really, you know, she's not good at staying in touch with people. Mm, yeah, a little sad about it. It looks like. I mean, I could pull up my tablet here, where I have my thing, and get it word for word from the horse's mouth. But yeah, so it's not that we aren't connected. Oh, really? Look at that, eh? Except my device. Yeah. So it's not that we aren't connected. We're just not really chatting. And we live in different provinces here in Canada. And yeah, and to be quite honest, she wasn't someone I was super close with in high school. Um, like I was involved in the cooking program quite heavily in my school, and we had a baking class as well, a very hands-on high school. And I would help serve the lunch line sometimes because it wasn't just a lady in a hairnet, an old lady in a hairnet. It was other students that did this. I heard something recently about a school was looking to hire someone to work the lunch line. I'm thinking, do they not do it like they did back then? That's a lot of us, including myself. Um, and I almost went into a Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program for cooks. These days, I'm lucky I can do our own kitchen at home. A hectic public kitchen, especially a cramped one, and all the noise and people dropping things, and no, because I am on the autistic spectrum as well. The higher functioning, but still, it's a struggle. So we got 5 of you here. I want to welcome you all here. Don't be shy. Um, but uh, but what's especially interesting is your mention of anchovies, and I'll tell you why. You're like, oh, I wish you would. I've been waiting for the moment. Um, I don't want to gross anybody out, and I don't think the numbers are accurate at the top necessarily. And I think you can also find salad dressing. And speaking of Caesar, let's hope that Glenn's epilepsy doesn't flare up. Uh, Once you figure out your groove, it's cake. I'll be having some of that tomorrow, and I've been having some lately. I mean, especially because tomorrow is the day, the cake eating day. Um, I tried a new kind. I have one kind that I just have a little bit of that I've had in the freezer for a while, and then I tried a soda cake recently. But I just put a little bit in the center, and we've been working our way into the center. So tomorrow we'll know what it's like. It's apparently an egg substitute. Um, but yes, I'm looking to figure out my groove. I thought I knew what it was at one point in time, and I'd still like to believe that I'm right about it. But anyway, back to the anchovies. Eh? So we had a very cool cooking teacher. I feel like he came up in conversation in my podcast earlier, and I can't remember why. Oh, because that was actually somebody else. And like I said, I was kind of thinking of that, not because it's a job I necessarily want to have. With the bread making machine, or yeah, me. You're the bread making machine, right? No, but what's it? 41%. I thought, but it holds the charge pretty good. Yeah, he was a cook, and he was from Toronto. That's what I think it was. New York is, of course, on the other side of the, next to Niagara Falls, Ontario. But it's quite big, right? Too, and I think that you're saying that you're from New York. Anywho, point of the matter being is, and this was Ontario, a different part of Ontario, but pretty close. He worked in cruise ships, and those boats are really amazing and something. And the fact that they can float, but hey, if it floats your boat, I mean, there's so many interesting things to do on them, so why wouldn't it, right? And he taught at a high school, which may have been a little under his level. He passed away. Speaking of, I know it's the theme sometimes. You both have purple icons. It's a bit confusing, but it's all good. He passed away a few years ago at the age of 40 something as well, I think, from something. I might be calling it wrong, but I believe it's called CSA. And he was Austrian. He sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger, by the way. Can't forget that part. Um, in one of his doesn't load. Anyway, it's something that the obituary said that or the website about this condition said most people don't live beyond 12 with it. He lived into his 50s, I think. He was probably in his 40s when I had him as a teacher. Everybody seems old when you're younger, right? And when you're young, yeah. When there's some people enough older than you, they seem old, right? And all the time we feel like we're getting a little bit closer. And it's hard when you sometimes see older people struggling. It's like, you should have it figured out by now, no? But life is an ebb and flow, continuous, figuring it out kind of thing for all of us, right? Anywho, um, he was once making Caesar dressing, and he put these things in it. Again, I think you can get it with it not in there as well. And there's lots of different salad dressings. And I mean, I'm not much into seafood now, but I was a little bit back then, actually. But it still grossed me out. Um, he used to walk around the kitchen and go, "What are you doing?" "Oh, don't do that." Ah. How's that for my Germans less Austrian? I know that they're slightly different, but they're similar, right? Anywho, um, uh, but one of the things that I do That doesn't necessarily, I mean, people can take workshops, programs, this and that. I haven't much. I'm open to it. I don't believe I have. If I did, it was a long, long time ago, and it was like a one day for a few hours kind of thing. Um, but I've also, and this is why I believe in it and know that it's possible. I have had, and again, it's late at night. You might just have to sub to this channel, hit the notification bell, and ask me on a fresh day. Uh, but you can see it actually today. I wish I could remember what point in that video it was in. If my friend remembers what point she tuned in on, that would help narrow it down because it was around there. I'm going to say the 2 hour mark. What I'm alluding to is that I can channel my loved ones, and it's still hard because they're not in the physical. I'm still human and I grieve, and it's not as often as maybe some people can, but when it does happen, it feels very real and it feels very special. And like I say, it happened earlier today with my dad and a few friends that came to give me a bit of company when things were a bit quiet. And so when I think of the culinary industry, there's a part of me that thinks of this teacher and that he passed away, and then, start thinking about that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, it's not really an industry, the cooking industry. I mean, I'll cook for myself, occasionally for someone else, although maybe I shouldn't. Um, but it's not really an industry I'm trying to get into. Um, but So part of me feels like I did this podcast because I was thinking of certain industries and wanting the the secret recipe to how to get into them. But the truth be told is everybody's journey is different. We can try and suggest it might work, but like for in well, and even if you weren't in the industry, I was very tempted to say, if you wanted to get in this industry, what would you do? Um, what ways might you go about it? So, as I mentioned, the ones we can focus on is I enjoyed plumbing, did that for a few years, fun and challenging. Are my jokes cracking you up? Just kidding. um, I mean, somebody's got to do it. Again, not an industry I have interest in being in, but someone's got to do it. But if we were talking, like I know, if we were talking music, you'd say go book some gigs. But there's a lot of local bands here. And I think the bands have better luck than the solo musicians a lot of the time. It may be easy, but and I may got the pipes, but sorry, bad angle. But um, just because something's easy doesn't mean it's your forte, But I don't like bars, going back to the autism spectrum and But I mean, I used to do karaoke. I've celebrated my birthday many times at karaoke, and I used to go weekly. Rip Ray, the host, but at 32, passed away of diabetes. Well, we all got one, But yeah, and I don't drive. Like I say, people that drive, even though it comes with getting parking tickets, having to buy gas, having to repair your car, there's still a part of me from the other side of the coin that says you're very blessed. You're very blessed that you don't have to consider whether it's raining or not. Okay, maybe you put on a slightly heavier coat and you put on your windshield wipers. But you don't have to worry about walking in it. You know what I mean? Do I at least cycle? Well, we live in a very wintry place, and winter is coming upon us slowly but surely. I know you can winterize a bike, but we get a lot of snow and drifts and wind and cold. So in the summer, yes, within certain distances. I mean, bike theft is a big thing here. Bike locks getting cut is a big thing here. So honestly, we have a theater festival that I volunteer and attend and would love to have a show in, but you have to pay a lot of money to enter. Some people get funding. I could give that a try, but it's a random draw. Anyway, they have a monitored bike station during the festival. I like that idea. Doesn't usually exist though. So um, but kind of just riding around the neighborhood sometimes. Actually, I'm hoping to maybe get a few more bike rides in. But this thing I want to go to tomorrow, I don't know if I could bring my bike in. I don't know if there's a good place to keep it there, even though it's not far and I'm kind of familiar with the area. And it's going to be raining. So, I mean, I'm really pissed off because I thought, oh, what a great way to spend my birthday. And maybe it would really be helpful for me. And it's not like I get to these things often. And this is nearby. The other thing that's nearby on the second or fourth that sounds like I might have a bus to it. I could bus to this thing, but our transit system just got revamped, and that could be the case in a lot of places. It's the case here. Um, I could do. There's one particular bus that's just within our neighborhood, and where I'm going is practically is, or I might have to walk 10 minutes. Um, 10, 15 minutes, but still in the rain. But if it's not windy, you can use an umbrella, right? But then, my joints, my arthritis with the wet, damp weather, don't like it. This winter's going to be hard because that's been worse. Um, uh, and I can't guarantee what driver I've had on this particular bus that's just within our neighborhood, which again might be popular in other places too, but in our city, actually, no, they do have it in other neighborhoods too. I've found because I've said, what's your neighborhood? And it's like, oh. I mean, I've had experiences where I was on the wrong side of the street and they didn't know me. They didn't know that I was the one looking for the bus. And she made her turn and she was focusing on traffic coming from the other direction and making the turn and didn't see me waving at her, or the stupid idiot that I said, I'm just going to drop this stuff off in the donation bin, in this parking lot, in the donation bin, and I'll come right back. He was very, very by the rule book and thought, no, you have to book each ride separately. This counts as a second ride now, essentially. He did not know, but he shouldn't have had to have known. He was still a jerk to do that when what precipitated the donation was my friend passing of diabetes. And I had a bunch of stuff, and I happened to remember, you know what? There's diabetes donation bins, and it might not just be for that agency, but, you know. And so here I am trying to do something in her honor and nice for some other people. And I even said, I think, when I got on, this is what the plan is. And I guess he mulled it over and decided to be a jerk that day. Or maybe he always is one. I don't know. Anyway. And it was kind of windy, but I decided just to walk back. But, so I would hate to get him again. Um, Although I'd go as far as I can to my destination and then back. But I'd have to even see if I have bus fare. Um, I don't know if there's food provided at it, but we'll see. We'll see when we get to tomorrow, I guess. But I'm like, it would be in walking distance. I could avoid the busing altogether if the weather was better, right? Might have to give myself some extra time. I don't know what my arthritis and my back's going to be doing on tomorrow, even after a good sleep. But anywho, so that's my struggle, and I don't know if I'm sticking to it or not, but it's my struggle. What are some things that you struggle with? What are some things you've struggled with in getting into the industry, your dream job, whether you're in it now or not yet, or have been but aren't currently? How did you get your start? Um, I know that was a long, yeah. And also, there's other. I mean, I'm not saying that I I dislike the people, or I mean, I don't know them, that some people are living in bus shacks here. And again, that's probably an issue in a lot of places. And I mean, I understand they got to stay somewhere, but it makes a lot of people uncomfortable to wait at bus stops. You know, you don't know if somebody's going to be violent. You also feel like you may be infringing on their space, and they're kind of infringing on the public space. And they were getting rid of them for a while, but the kind of renters we have, they can't. So now they're installing them, but for the ones that just simply get broken, they're actually doing something that's even better than I think fiberglass or plexiglass, whatever it's called. Well, good luck to you, man. I'm sure you'll be able to find your niche, and I appreciate that, and I'd like to agree with you. However, it's been 8 or 9 years. I mean, some of that time, maybe even a little bit longer. Some of that time, I wouldn't say that I'm milking the system. I have had some legitimate struggles. I truly have, which may or may not be obvious upon first glance. But when you get on financial support, financial aid, which is especially important when you have kids, but we all got to survive. At the time, though, I believe I was living with my mother, but I was helping pay rent. Um, you know, and it was like, okay, I'm making something, and then sometimes they'll let you collect it even if you're working, if you're under a certain number of hours or something like that. But it was kind of like, okay, at least or at least I'm making something, and I was always trying to keep my eyes open for opportunities that usually go to other people, whether they're more qualified or just more lucky, or just sometimes you'll send a message out to something, and they don't like. I'd signed up, I believe it was for this event tomorrow. I mean, and I got a bounce back email because I think I sent it over the weekend saying that an out of office message, and I thought it said that they were closed on Monday, or were they closed on? I don't know. It was a weird message. But the matter is, it's now been sitting there for 3 days, and nobody's gotten back to me. If that means it's all full, spaces are filled, they might want to let me know that, because, I mean, people could just assume, oh, I'll just go and show up then, and it's a real inconvenience, especially when you have transportation struggles, to get yourself all the way there. Now I feel like I'm jinxing it, and this is maybe telling me not to go. To get yourself all the way there and find out, oh, we've had signed up as many people as we can sign up or something. What I'm thinking of doing, and I meant to start doing it the other day, bright and early. I looked it up, looked up an area that I was of interest in, and just because there's a part of me that wants to change my mind on some of my career dreams, because they've just not been failure to launch, like the movie is called. They've just not been happening. And as much as I think I'd be really great at those things, quite confidently feel that and enjoy them, when you're not getting the opportunities, you start to think, is that meant to be? And if not, what? This wasn't meant to be a counseling session for me, but I was hoping to hear about people's industries and be motivated, and you know. But one of you, I don't even think has said what kind of work you do, and if you did, I missed it. Oh, I think you mentioned something about. Okay, I do remember, but you said you enjoyed it. You didn't say that's what kind of work you do now, or have ever done. But thing about looking it up on YouTube may or may not get me opportunities. And the other thing is that it's not networking with other people locally in the industry. It's not like I necessarily have something specific to pitch to them. Um, I think in the movie industry, you can do stuff with cover music. It doesn't have to be original. Although, if it's cover music, it might, or already existing songs, it might have to be by the person who originally did it. I'm not sure. And if that's the case, well, I'm not them. I may be, in some cases, almost as good as them, or as good as them, because I've been doing music for a long time, but I'm not them. And I'm not really much of a songwriter. And as far as composing, that may not only be classical, it's true, but I'm not really interested in the technical stuff, like, camera operating. I mean, I know I'm running this podcast and this and that, but I'm otherwise not super interested in that. Photography, a little bit. Going, like I say, the music industry. So maybe it's not the right event for me to be at anyway. I don't know, but it's something that I could have went to do for a couple hours of the day. Maybe met some interesting people. Hopefully not Dean Barry there. Like that guy shot my career in the foot. I mean, I'm not meaning to sound like I'm playing the victim or like, blaming everybody else, but sometimes other people are to blame a little bit. And sometimes those people, you are kind of the victim. Shall I explain? By the way, do we still have, or did you leave abruptly, Jojoba Man, which looks like Jojaba Man, and Busy Bee? And I try to be busy, but basically, how how it went was this. Let me take a sip of water, and then I'll tell you the kind of experience, like kind of, yeah. There is a guy who does a lot of networking, and I really got to watch my throat. I might have to have some tea because once we get to bed, I don't want to have to get up and worry about doing something for my throat. But I don't like tea without sugar, and sugar at this time of night. Um, what I might do is when G comes downstairs, 36, okay, but it was at 42, so not bad. When G comes downstairs to play piano, what I might do is keep this rolling, whether I'm on the second floor or not, and he's downstairs, and go to the computer and type some of this conversation, type some of what I want to say out to rest my voice. But at the moment, he's using the computer, so. But anyway, this guy, I don't know all that he did, to be honest. And it's true that he had just gotten a job at this network. And I don't even think it's just our city that has this network, but it's called Shaw. And he just he had just landed the role, and he did have two other people that were working alongside of him. But his communication skills, his memory, because he saw me a year or two later at a festival and says, and very randomly came up to me and said, "Would you like to collab?" And I said, "We tried that. I don't know what happened." It says, "Oh, you're G, full name. Oh, okay." And I may have even said, I don't know what I said. He's upstairs. I don't remember what I said. All right, point of the matter being, no apology. No, yeah, I thought we could start, we could try again and let's approach things differently. I don't feel I did anything wrong. I had very minimal contact with the guy. He said he was interested in having, I think he connected with G first. I said I'd be interested in being a guest too, if that would be cool. Okay, maybe we could talk about your background in the movie extra work. Well, there hadn't been anything recently. A couple things were so many years ago that it was really vague in my memory. And I had something else I would have rather have talked about. And he says, well, what we could maybe do is I guess maybe he did say maybe, but he said we could put you in the last 10 minutes of G's segment. Hopefully I get this all in before he comes down, because he'll be down soon and I don't want to trigger him. But the last 10 minutes of his segment. I said, yeah, that should be all I need. And then I think I even confirmed, So that's the guy who does long podcasts, I know. But I think I even confirmed to him. Is there anybody still listening or watching? Because it's not indicating it at the top. Anywho, but I'll say it anyway for those that see afterwards, even though it is an hour in. But I think I confirmed to him that, yeah, 10 minutes should be good enough. Um, then he booked somebody else who was already fairly well established in music as a performer. I'd never heard of her, but that doesn't mean anything. Locally, like not like big time. I mean, she may, I'm sure she got around more than I did, but primarily a local musician. And he said, well, we put her in case G canceled. Well, G didn't cancel, so they did them both. I really kind of wish, and if he tried, I didn't. I think it was just, the thrill and whirl of doing it, and it wasn't even kind of on topic as to what he had wanted to talk about. I mean, maybe the guy just said we're gonna have one topic and that's it. Maybe that's kind of what his approach was. He didn't make it super obvious though, so we thought we were going to talk about the side business a little bit at the time, that G was, and yeah, he really was talking more about the movie extra stuff with him too. And it's not that he hasn't done stuff, but and I got to sit in the kind of the production room and watch, and I even dressed up. The rare time I even dress up, bright and early. Took the cab down there. Wasn't as expensive or as far as I thought, but still kind of. And I was glad that I was able to watch. Why they use so many monitors is something I don't know. I didn't really get an opportunity to ask many questions. And I was just sitting there wondering, kind of thinking about what I might want to say and how's it going to go and all this and that. To find out that, yeah, and again, this was, like I could say, with very minimal communication with him, but enough to know that I thought that I knew what we were doing there. Um, and again, I think, maybe he did try. Maybe G did try and say, I don't mind sharing my last 10 minutes. Maybe time kind of got away from him. And then he wasn't about, and then the really awkward thing is we had to get well, we didn't have to, but we chose to accept because it was easier than our other option, as been mentioning. Get a ride home with this lady. She was nice enough otherwise. A little bit of a feminist, but and nothing. I mean, I'm more of an equalist myself, and history is not modern times. There's been a lot of progress made in a lot of areas, but and he got a ride home from her too. And I mean, I guess but he has no problem getting around. He's even posting about the new busing system. He has no problem getting around, and I don't know. I'm very free spirited and sometimes loosey goosey about like rules and stuff like that sometimes. But I don't know if it was appropriate really to get a ride from your guest. I mean, it's media and it's all fun stuff, so I don't know. Um, he sure as heck wasn't going to get us from us since we didn't have a vehicle, right? But and it wasn't super duper far, but and he just pretended like nothing had happened. And I mean, maybe what it was is because I'm sure me and G were saying some stuff, and maybe he just thought, maybe he felt bad. I don't know. Maybe he thought I don't want to get in the middle of this. Um, you know, um, maybe he felt like he hadn't fully promised me, but I take people for their word, and even if it's if they say they're going to do something, I mostly believe that they're going to, and um, especially when it works in my benefit, I'm especially excited about it. When on that platform locally, talking about the things I'm trying to get into really could have launched some stuff for me, and it was kind of like, I don't know, it was just very weird, very disappointing. To the point where I had my guitar with me because I think me and G were going to do a song. I almost left it there, almost forgetting, although they haven't been asking for it back. I said, does he not want it back? Our neighbor's son. She's like, oh no, he's focusing on another instrument right now. But I had borrowed a case. Why, I don't know, because I have a guitar case of somebody else's. So not only did I almost leave behind my first actual non-kid guitar, but I also somebody else's case because I was just so annoyed. Like the promise had not been fulfilled to me, right? I also think that I could do what he does, interviewing people. I've done it actually. Again, not as often as I would like, but I have done it. Are either of you still here? It doesn't look like it, and you're not saying anything, but maybe you're just listening. Anyway, point of the matter being, it's kind of like, if not these things, what? You know, Gina may have went to bed because it's been a long day for her probably, and but with her injury, maybe she's not sleeping very well. She said, "Let me know next time you're rolling live." Okay, I'm rolling live. Where are you? No, I did say likely tomorrow before finding myself doing it tonight. But she was asking about a song that comes to, well, she was asking about a singer that does a song that's coming to mind right now. And we got two people here, but I sort of think I might prefer to do it tomorrow, or might prefer to do it in full tomorrow. It's one of those songs. It's kind of like I follow a few musicians on here and I see people asking them to do a certain song in the chat. And I alluded to it, I think, earlier today in mine. It's late at night here, and I've done a lot of podcasting and some other stuff today. But there is a song that's out there. Let me describe a couple songs and see if you can guess what they are. Name that tune without hearing it, because I'm musical, and if I was to do it, you'd probably pretty quickly realize what they were. First one, um, performer's initials are BE. I don't know a lot of her songs. She has one about birds, but the one I'm thinking about is about purpose. Second song, which I've almost already forgotten. Oh, um, is a machine that a lot of people don't use anymore, except for in their car. It's got buttons on it and sometimes spinny dials. This, my goodness, talking about charades. I mean, couldn't be more. I think you couldn't be more clear with these clues, more obvious. But and a word that you may or may not feel that some people overly use. I will quickly take a moment. And lately, when I said like to take a moment, I think of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air song. But boundaries, I think, are often an excuse to um, avoid conflict or addressing something that needs to be addressed. Working with somebody in a situation to figure out how to make it positive and okay between those involved. I think so many people, they're just so quick to say, that's crossing the boundary. I'm ghosting you now. Um, I'm not going to say that sometimes that isn't what you have to do, but the other word that's kind of similar, well, it's not really similar, but I think a lot of people, some people say, oh, you're creeping, you're creeping. Um, it's the online world. This is the online world. You post stuff, people are going to see it. You know, and a lot of the people that say that probably actually kind of want them to. Like, I mean, I'm fine with whoever this reaches, without a lot of extra efforts, anybody else's part. And, if you don't have anything good to say about someone, just don't say it, But the song that I'm thinking about is, I've related to it at times. I think a lot of us have. It's deep. I guess I'm really giving that one away. If the both of you have been here since I started giving clues about it, you should know what song I'm talking about. Any guesses? Anyway, it's deep, it's sad, but it is fun to sing. It is popular. It might even kind of be a one-hit wonder for this band because I don't know any other songs by them, but that's maybe just me. But it's hard to sing, especially with someone who's literal and wants to be singing positive stuff, it's I'm just going to quickly say it and then maybe focus on the other song. I can't but think that this song I'm thinking of, it's almost kind of like a I don't feel like it's a healthy song for mental health. This other one maybe isn't either, but it's a very interesting concept for a song as well. And a lot of us ask this, have asked it at some point in our life, are currently trying to figure it out, or will in the future. So maybe I'll sing a quick snippet of it now. Then I'm going to shortly go to sleep for about 8 hours, take maybe an hour in my morning, and then maybe I'll come podcast the full thing. And, I'll have to decide if I'm going to, when I look outside and see what the weather's doing. But even if I do, it could change. So I'm probably not going anywhere tomorrow. Definitely want to do a podcast with G in the evening. Um, if it doesn't happen tomorrow, it'll happen Friday, but I'm fairly positive that's going to happen tomorrow evening. Um, but I got the whole day to get through and not a lot of plans if I'm not going to this thing, you know, other than a chore. So I'll do this song, or at least I'll do a snippet of it now. I'll do the full thing tomorrow. I have some other song ideas, and I welcome you to give me more of them. Topic ideas. I do try and podcast every day anyway, and sometimes more than once. Um, I'm really surprised I'm not getting any guesses on the songs at the moment. But but oh no, I could have. I mean, I don't mean to be ageist with this statement, but maybe I had a couple, 60 or 70-year-old people watching, and they just don't know the modern music. But a lot of them do because of their grandkids, or because they've just or modern. You know, my throat. I think if I stop soon, it won't keep me awake with hoarseness and a cough or anything because there's been a lot of podcasting today. It's been one of those days. But there's nobody here at the moment. So the question is, one, do I wait until somebody tunes in? Two, do I want to just sing this for myself? Three, do I just want to wrap up? I don't know. I'm no good at deciding things sometimes. It, though, like that other song, it, you wanted to get bed before 11:30, I guess? Yeah. It, like that other song, and I don't know if I know ever watch it. Maybe we'll watch that because I'm getting sick of that place better. Maybe I'll preview that. It, like this other song, is hard when you relate to it. When you relate to a song and you sing it. Because this is the thing, I guess the difference between just listening to songs that you resonate with and that you think about or that you relate to, um, or singing them, because singing them is like speaking it out, and it's not like I don't do that, obviously. But I guess singing it gives it a bit more oomph, a bit more power. Either way, it just feels too real sometimes. It just and it, not in a way I want it to. But I could figure out a way to fit it in. I mean, it fits in the theme of this. It does, of this topic. But it could also fit in the theme of tomorrow. So somebody just tuned in. Welcome. If you'd like to, okay, it looks like you left. If not, comment on the topic. I'd love to hear from you. The thing that I am remembering about this song, though, is the last verse is optimistic. It goes from being uncertain and maybe a little bit depressed I'm thinking I'm not about too optimistic. Which the other song I don't believe does. I don't remember what the last verse is of this other song I'm thinking of. But it's again, it's, I guess you could say it's a power ballad. I don't know if I'd say it's a feel good song though. I mean, maybe if you get past your struggles and you don't resonate with it as much anymore, and it's just a fun song to sing for its melody, then that's one thing. If it really hits, though, it's um. But G's gonna be downstairs soon. I'm tired. I am gonna look. I am gonna pull it up on my device though, so that tomorrow when I'm, because I know that there was some stuff I looked at earlier today too that I kept open to do again. And I guess maybe tomorrow I'll ask about the thing and just look it up on Google because I don't know what that other music book is. But he'll see that one and that might make him think to look it up. Um, okay, so I guess I'll wrap up because I don't want him to carry on. I mean, this has to plug in, and we both want to get to bed soon. So if he just jumps into this and takes over from there, one, whatever it does better. Two, people start chatting, they keep us up late. It's not a Friday, it feels like it is, but kind of an early morning. But I'm just looking up a song that I'm going to do most likely in tomorrow. So if you'd like to hear a little bit of a preview of it now, but you left, so I think I'm going to wrap it, or at least it looks like you have. I'll give it a moment just in case that's inaccurate, as it sometimes is. It was really surprising that today was the first time that somebody actually said, "You talk a lot." Most people don't say it. I guess they probably assume I know it, and I do. Sometimes I do, just like anybody else. Sometimes feels like they have a lot on their mind and a lot to express or something that they're passionate about. And other times I'm quiet. I'm like I'm speechless. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, what is this? I'm accidentally almost printing it. And now we're back on Halo. Anyway, I'm wrapping up. Talk to you later.